Hamjambo familia, welcome to the Swahili classes on the Blackwood Fire Network, being on the 20th of February, the year 2021. I do trust that you are doing well. My name is Pikes, and I'm your tutor for this particular class, and we hope that together we can be able to connect and learn Swahili as a family. Swahili is a beautiful East African language. It's not really an East African language. It's actually widely spoken even in Southern Africa, with about over 100 million Swahili speakers on the continent of Africa. And if you also get to enumerate the number of Swahili speakers outside Africa, this gives you about maybe perhaps close to 120 million people are speaking Swahili worldwide. And it has gained prominence and it has become prolific over the last few years, seeing that there has been the introduction of even Swahili, even in Southern African states. And therefore, I do believe if we do have East Africa, South Africa, Central Africa speaking in Swahili, then eventually we shall have the same also spreading to areas in West Africa and North of Africa to be able to give us a language to connect with, or to be able to give us a language that will help us bridge the gap, because there are so many differences that have been created, and there is a very, very big barrier that has been created by language. And we do realize that on the continent of Africa, English and French are the main, spoken languages on the continent, apart from the native languages. And therefore, if we were to have our own native language, such as Swahili, to communicate in, we will be able to connect as a people. Whether you are coming from the Bantu or whether you're coming from all these other different groups, you will be able to understand each other. Every Saturdays and Sundays, we get together on the weekends to just learn Swahili. And I always do keep on reminding us that we do have so many other resources, especially on the internet right now. For example, if you head over to Amazon, you will look for a book known as The Lonely Planet Swahili Fresh Book, and you will find that particular one. We have also put together some notes for you. You can be able also to find these particular notes on lulu.com. And once you are on lulu.com, simply just search for the Mwanzo Swahili Fresh Book. The Mwanzo Swahili Guidebook. And this particular guidebook is meant to help you really just have an understanding and an appreciation of the language. And it's also meant to help you, just get the basics of the Swahili language. You can simply get it on lulu.com, and I just search for lulu.com/shop and Pumzi Africa Mwanzo Swahili Guidebook. It's very, very important for you to have that. You can also get the other resources on YouTube. If you look for, former or previous classes that you have conducted on the Blackwood Fire Network, you will find so many of them. Just search for Swahili class, the Swahili class on Blackwood Fire Network. We also do have other different individuals putting together the same kind of materials for the general public use, to be able to use these particular notes to learn a little bit of some Swahili. My name is Pikes, like I said earlier, and I was saying that Swahili is not very, very difficult to learn. One of the things that you happen to realize in Swahili is that we do not have the letter X and Q in Swahili. You will not find any Swahili words with the letter Q and X. And therefore, if you're wondering, is this word Swahili? You will not actually have the letter Q and X in Swahili. You also do realize that in Swahili we do have 5 vowels, and this is the A, the English letter A, the English letter E, the English letter I, the English letter O, and the English letter U. And therefore, these constitutes the 5 Swahili vowels: A, E, O, U. Let me just put them down: A, E, O, U. Those are the 5 vowels in Swahili, and they are not particularly difficult to use in any kind of a syllable you'll find in Swahili. You also realize that every other word in Swahili ends with a vowel sound. Every other every other word in Swahili, it ends with a vowel sound. For example, if you're talking about hujambo, which is Swahili greeting, hujambo simply means hello. In Swahili, it means hello in Swahili. And therefore, hujambo actually ends with the vowel hujambo, and that is the syllable the bo, which is with the vowel o at the end of it. And if you're also talking about nzuri, which is a Swahili word used to describe good, which is described used to describe the word good. Nzuri is simply an adjective. Nzuri is simply an adjective, and it just means good. If someone's asked you, for example, habari yako, if someone was to ask you habari yako, you would actually simply say nzuri. You would actually simply say nzuri to mean you are okay or you are doing well. If someone says habari yako, I would respond and say nzuri. Or if someone just simply said hujambo, you have to understand the correct response for the hello in Swahili is also saying sijambo in that particular kind of a way. And we also do have some other words in Swahili that are very, very popular, and you realize all of them do end with a syllable that has a vowel sound. A syllable that has a vowel sound. For example, if you say salama, salama also means well. Salama also means okay. Salama means well or okay. Salama, it ends with the vowel at the syllable ma. It ends with the syllable ma, which is also an illustration, a perfect illustration to show us that all the words in Swahili do get to end with a syllable which has a vowel sound. I have always used the example of kalamu. Kalamu simply means a pen. Kalamu simply means a pen. Kalamu, which means a pen, it also ends with the syllable mu, and the syllable mu has the vowel u. It has the vowel u. When talking about the consonants, we also do have a long list of consonants. The consonant constitutes all the letters of the English alphabet, apart from X and Q. X and Q, you will not find that X and Q, of course, in Swahili. That is what the point I was alluding to earlier, because these two are not used. But you also do have some special class of consonants that are combined two consonants. For example, C and H, C and H, C and H, these are two consonants, but they are combined in Swahili, and they make the consonant cha. They make that particular one a cha, which is, for example, chakula, 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 which simply means a food. Chakula simply means food. And therefore, if you are also talking about things like shuguli is an S and H. S and H also make the special class of consonants. And of course, this is, for example, in the word shuguli. Shuguli means activities. Shuguli means activities, and therefore, activities or tasks. Activities or tasks. Activities or tasks. And therefore, you simply say shughuli mingi. If you say shughuli mingi means a lot of tasks or a lot of activities, because mingi is one that is used to describe a lot. You can also say sana. Sana also is an emphasis, is a word for emphasis. Sana is a word for emphasis. It means very. It's also another word for emphasis. It means very. If you said nzuri sana, for example, I taught us earlier that you say nzuri to mean well or good. If you said nzuri sana, it means very good, very good. It simply means very good. If you said nzuri sana, it's simply understood to be very, very good. If you also said pole is a word which sounds like Paul, but pole means sorry, And you can also say pole sana. If you want to extend your condolences, or if you want to extend your apologies, you can simply say pole sana, which is very sorry, pole sana, which is very sorry. And those are some of the examples of some words that are also, do get to emphasize. If you're talking about a little bit of some emphasis. Nonetheless, we also get to realize that in Swahili, we do have, we do have the verbs and we do have the nouns, and we have actually learned about the nouns on previous episodes of the Swahili class. And we have said that in Swahili, we do have what we call the noun classes. All ngeli is a nominal in Swahili. Ngeli is a nominal in Swahili. And we shall be, getting to also remind ourselves about the Gelis and Omino right here on the Black Hot Fire Network Swahili class for the weekend. And before we continue, I want to remind us that you do have a tour to Tanzania in April on the 12th, on the 12th of April. You are much welcome to join us on our tour to Tanzania. We shall be going to Dar es Salaam, which is the biggest city in Tanzania. We shall also be going to Zanzibar, which is also the island, but of course it's part of Tanzania. And there are lots of interesting things to see and enjoy. And therefore, you are not too late. You can simply sign up to join us on that particular tour. And the way to join us is really to email Akith. You can email him akithnews15@gmail.com. And once you have gotten a hold of him, you can get to ask your questions and get all the information regarding the arrangements or how that particular tour has been planned. But nonetheless, getting back into the main conversation and the main agenda, which is a Swahili class for today, it's important to realize that Tanzania is known to be the birthplace or really the home place for Swahili. In Tanzania, I like to remind us that in Tanzania, they do get to do their official communication in Swahili, and also it's a national language in Tanzania. It's official language and also the national language, and therefore you will not find people, trying to get involved with other languages. It's important there. You can learn any other language that you want, but they do have the Swahili, which is really adopted as a national language, and it's also the national language here in Kenya. If you are in Kenya and you want to communicate, maybe you're making a report to the police at the police station, or maybe you're making a report at the hospital, or maybe you're going to school and you want to communicate to the teachers there, Swahili is the national language, and therefore you are in the right place right here on the Black Hot Fire Network, joining us to learn a little bit of some Swahili. There are some common courtesy words apart from saying hello to someone. Now that I mentioned Pole, there are also some common courtesy words in Swahili. For example, shukran. Shukran is really to say thank you. Shukran, if someone came up to you and I say hujambo, and then you respond and say hujambo, you can respond and say hujambo, shukran. Shukran, which is also, you can also use asanti. Asanti. Asanti, A-S-A-N-T-I. Asanti, you can also say asanti, really for the same, which is thanks. If someone says hujambo and you respond and says hujambo, you can respond also and add the word asanti, which is well, thanks. Well, thanks. The same thing. If someone says habari yako in Swahili, habari yako simply means how are you? You can say salama and you can also add the word asanti. Niko salama, asanti. If you say niko salama, it means I am well. I am well. It's a phrase which means I am well. And therefore, in that particular kind of a way, you can be able to also have and extend the composition from there. You can ask, Je, ungependa nikusaidiaje? Je, ungependa nikusaidia aje? Which is really, how would you like me to, how can I be of assistance? How can I help you? Or how can I be of assistance? Those are the simplest ways in which you can get to extend that particular conversation. If someone says hello, and then you respond and say jambo, and then you can continue say je nikusaidia vipi, which is how can I help you? Je nikusaidia vipi. In Swahili, when you start in a question, you simply use the je. The je, which almost sounds like the jay, but it's je, which signals the start of a question. It signals the start of a question. For example, je unaenda wapi? Unaenda wapi? Enda simply means to go. Enda simply means to go. And therefore, if someone says Je, unaenda wapi? Or je, unaelekea wapi? Elekea also means to head to. Elekea means to head to. And therefore, if you say je, unaenda wapi, it's understood to be where are you going? Je, unaenda wapi? Unaenda wapi? They are simply a simple ways of asking questions. And of course, we do have the 5 words, which is how, where, when, how. This is how. Let me start with where. And sorry about that. There was a bit of some noise going around. But nonetheless, I was saying that if you want to ask some questions in Swahili, it's very, very easy for you to do so. You can ask wapi. If someone says unaenda wapi, it's simply understood to be where are you going? Where translates into wapi. And if you're looking for the word, for example, when are you going? When are you going? That will be unaenda lini, unaenda lini. Let me just put those two examples. Unaenda lini and unaenda wapi. There is a distinction. If someone says unaenda wapi, unaenda wapi, unaenda wapi, it's where are you going. Wapi means where. Where are you going? Where are you going? And if you said unaenda lini, unaenda lini, unaenda lini, unaenda lini simply is when are you going? When are you going? Because like I said earlier, enda means to go, enda means to go, and therefore if we said lini, lini is for when, but wapi is for where. Wapi is for where. If you ask unaenda na nani, nani simply means who. Nani simply means who, and therefore if someone was asking unaenda na nani, unaenda na nani, that would be who are you going with. Unaenda nani, which is who are you going with. Who are you going with? Who are you going with? And of course, those are some of the words that are used. There is also the word, there is also how. There is also how. How. There is also how. How is your day? How is your day? Siku yako ipo vipi? Siku yako ipo vipi? Or how will you get there? How will you get there? How will you get there? You simply translate it. It becomes utafika vipi? Utafika vipi? That is how you simply get to ask utafika vipi? Utafika vipi? Because for how translates into vipi. How translates into vipi in Swahili. But going back to the greetings and also going back to the common courtesy words, I just also want to highlight that the greetings are hujambo in Swahili. And if you tell me hujambo, I will respond and say sijambo. If you also forget about that, you can also tell someone jambo. Jambo is also a greeting in Swahili, is hello. And you can also respond and say jambo. If someone says jambo, you can also respond and say jambo. But the official and the correct way is really saying hujambo. And the correct response for that is sijambo. Also talking about other greetings, you say habari yako. Habari yako is how are you. Habari yako is simply how you say how are you. And someone would respond and say nzuri, or they would respond and say salama, or they can respond and say njema. Those are some of the ways in which you can simply get to respond in Swahili and let someone know that you are doing well. But how about if you're not doing okay? But how about if you're not doing okay? You can simply tell them, you can simply also tell them mbaya. You can also simply tell them mbaya. And mbaya is a way to say not well. Mbaya is bad. Mbaya is bad. Mbaya is bad. You can also say, you cannot always be good. You can also say mbaya, which is bad. Someone might ask you habari yako, or you might tell them mbaya because maybe perhaps you're going through a rough day, and you can also tell them mbaya, or you can also tell them sio njema, sio njema, sio njema, which is it's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. And remember, we were learning also sometimes back that you can also differentiate. You can also just respond in either yes or no. There's some questions where someone asks you, which is a question, for example, will you come? Will you come? Or will you travel? And you have to say yes or no. And therefore, if someone says utaenda, utasafiri, je, utasafiri. If someone says, will you travel? Will you travel? Je, utasafiri, utasafiri. Which is, will you travel? Will you travel? Will you travel? And therefore, you respond and say yes in the affirmative. You just say respond and say yes, which is ndio. Said ndio, nitasafiri. Ndio, nitasafiri, because safiri is to travel. Safiri is to travel. And safari is a journey. Safari is a journey. Safari is a tour. Safari is a tour. Safari is a tour. All the journey, the tour, all the journey. And therefore, if I say nitasafiri, it means I will travel. I will travel. Remember, this is Swahili class for the weekend, and every other weekend we get to connect on Saturdays and Sundays, and I just get to learn a little bit of Swahili as a family. And in case you do have a question to that point where we are at right now, kindly feel free to ask any question. When we get back, we shall highlight on some of the common courtesy words in Swahili. We shall also touch a little bit on the noun classes, and we shall continue learning Swahili as a family. If you do have a question, kindly feel free to ask. We shall be right back after this short break. Welcome back to the Swahili classes for the weekend. We do say karibuni sana, which is really the Swahili first word, which means you are very, very much welcome. If someone says karibu, they are simply telling you you are much welcome, which is really what we do say right here on the Blackboard Network. In case you are joining us for the very first time, once again, karibu sana. We said earlier that sana is meant to really emphasize. Sana is meant to emphasize very. It's meant to emphasize very all a lot. And I've said karibu sana. It means you are very welcome, very welcome. You are very welcome to the show. And of course, we also do have some other common courtesy words. We do have some other common courtesy words. And these include tafadhali. If someone is telling you tafadhali, you simply have to understand it means please, please. Tafadhali is a Swahili word which is a really common courtesy word, which means please. If you went to some place and you're trying to ask for some water, you simply have to start with please. Could you assist me with some water? You'd say you would actually say tafadhali, ningependa, tafadhali, 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 ningependa, tafadhali. Ningependa simply means I would like. Ningependa maji kidogo, I would like some water, which means please, I would like some water. And maji, we have already learned that there are some basic items. For example, water. Water is maji, and food is chakula. Food really translates into chakula. If someone says chakula kitamu, that is also very, very tasty food, all delicious food. If someone says chakula kitamu, we already established that chakula is food right here earlier on, which is, chakula kitamu. That would be delicious. All sweet food in that particular context. But we also do have some other common courtesy words I said earlier. For example, if you stepped on someone's toes, as you're moving by and you wanted to say sorry, you would simply say pole. You'd simply say pole, and it would be understood to be sorry. It's you just begging or asking for pardon. And you can also say samahani. Samahani is pardon. Samahani simply means pardon. If, for example, I was telling you something, you did not get to hear me. Samahani, I was telling you something, you did not get to hear me well. You can simply say pardon, and I would come again. I would actually just repeat what I just said earlier, and that is in Swahili. Samahani ndugu. Samahani ndugu would also be excuse me. Pardon or excuse me. It's either excuse, it can also be excuse me, which is also samahani. Samahani can be pardon or excuse me. And if someone says tahadhari is beware. Tahadhari simply means beware, tahadhari. Simply means beware, tahadhari. Simply means beware. Maybe perhaps there's a dog, maybe there's a stray dog that is going on and biting people or doing something crazy, and therefore if someone says tahadhari, you would understand it to be they do mean that perhaps you might be in a bit of a trouble. If you try to do something, you might be getting yourself in some danger. Of course, there is also you can also say rudia tena. You can also say rudia tena if you do not hear what someone says. You can also go ahead and tell them rudia tena, so that you are able to understand what they were saying on what their message was earlier on. We also do have other common courtesy words. Of course, if you went up and like I said, lala salama is simply wishing someone a good night. If someone said lala salama, it's simply just wishing you a good night. They said salama earlier on. Salama simply means well, so that is simply a good night. Have a good night or sleep well. It's simply just a sleep well. Really, it's simply just a sleep well. If someone says have a good day, have a good day. It simply says siku njema, kuwa na siku njema, kuwa na siku njema. Siku njema is simply a good day. I was saying earlier that njema simply means good, and that is have a good day. If you want to be polite, you can simply say have a good day. And there's a difference between day and night, even in Swahili. For example, daytime and day. If you say day, day of course ni siku, but daytime really translates into mchana. Daytime simply translates into mchana. There is a difference between that. It translates into mchana. And therefore, if someone also wants to talk to you and they want to give you a greeting and they also want to attach that greeting to the time of the day, for example, how is your afternoon? How is your afternoon? Someone would actually simply say habari. Habari. For example, even in the how is your evening? Habari. 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 Yeah, jioni, which is how is your evening? Jioni is the evening. How is your evening? Your evening. Your evening. Jioni simply means evening. Jioni simply means evening. If someone says habari asubuhi is greetings in the morning. Habari asubuhi is greetings in the morning. Asubuhi, it's simply greetings in the morning. And therefore, that is how is your morning? How is your morning? How is your morning? Normally, people would say hello in the morning, not really in the evening, but that is how simply they would say it. Melanated Warrior, thank you so much for joining us. You're saying peace spikes amani, amani kwako pia ndugu. For the brothers, we do say brother, it's ndugu in Swahili. For the brother, we do say ndugu. And therefore, if I said amani ndugu, that would be simply peace brother. That would be amani ndugu. Amani ndugu, that would be peace brother. If I said amani dada, of course, that simply means also peace sister, peace sister, peace sister, peace sister. And that would be amani dada, amani dada. I was saying earlier that there is a way. Thank you so much, Sister Nishpena, for joining us on the show. We trust that you are well, and thank you so much for joining us. I was saying that if you happen to be, giving us some, if you happen to be wishing someone a good day, you can also tell them a siku njema. Kuwa na siku njema. Siku njema simply means a good day. And maybe if it's during the evening, the nighttime, and you just want them to sleep well, you simply just say lala salama. Lala salama simply means sleep well. And if you're telling someone goodbye, you tell them kwaheri. Those are some of the words that are very, very common. Kwaheri, kwaheri. We have used kwaheri a couple of times on the show when we were winding up. It's normally just a goodbye, goodbye. And if you want to tell them kwaheri ya kuonana, kwaheri, which is a goodbye, see you again, goodbye, 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 see you again, see you again, goodbye, see you again. You simply, that would be kwaheri ya kuonana, kwaheri, kwaheri ya kuonana, kwaheri ya kuonana. That is simply how you say goodbye, see you again. And it's not difficult. I always keep on saying that Swahili is one of the easiest languages really to learn. I do believe that, compared to other languages, especially on the continent of Africa, I might actually label Swahili as one of the easiest languages. It's not because that I speak it, but because even of the word pattern and how every other word in Swahili ends with a vowel, the syllable with a vowel sound, the syllable with a vowel sound. For example, if you say salama, salama, which means I'm well, if someone says ujambo, you can also respond and say salama. And salama simply means well. And I was saying salama ends with a vowel, with the syllable ma. it ends the syllable ma, and every other word in Swahili ends with the same. If you're talking about perhaps nzuri, nzuri, it ends with the syllable ri, which of course has a vowel e at the end, and therefore any other word in Swahili that you get to encounter, you realize that it's very, very easy. It also has a rhythm to it, and I want to remind us that you can also use different resources. For example, the previous classes on the Blackboard Fire, you can simply go back and search for them on this particular same channel, and also on Spreaker. If you go to Spreaker, if you go to Spreaker.com, let me share with us Spreaker.com, Spreaker.com, and I'll click on the search tab. I'll click on the search, and I'll look for Swahili class on Blackboard Fire, the Swahili class on Blackboard Fire. You will find so many classes. I believe right now they're about maybe over 30. They perhaps could be over 30 classes available on Spreaker.com, and you can also get to enjoy all of those particular classes and go back and replay them again. I also do believe you can download on Spreaker. You are able to download, and some of these classes also do go to Spotify. And therefore, if you are also on Spotify, you can, whatever platform that you prefer, it's your choice really to pick on the one that you feel serves you best. But nonetheless, the content is the same. And we were saying that we also do have the Lonely Planet Swahili book, the Lonely Planet Swahili first book. It's also on Amazon. You can also get to check out the book that I shared with us earlier. Put together some notes. You can buy it on Lulu.com for $8, and you can also support the classes by doing that. And also, as we move on, I was talking about some of the common phrases that has to do with courtesy. I say that you do have kwaheri, which is a goodbye. I said that you do have karibu. Karibu simply means welcome. I said about tafadhali. Tafadhali simply means please. You also do have tahadhari. Tahadhari simply means beware or be aware. There is something going on. And we also do have other words such as siku njema. Siku njema is simply a phrase which means have a good day. Or lala salama, which simply means just sleep, have a good night's sleep. And we have also talked about some of the words that do show questions. For example, how. I said how is VP. How is VP? How, like I said earlier, simply translates into VP. I also said that when translates into Lini translates into when. Lini translates into when. Lini translates into when. Lini translates into when. Nani translates into who. Nani translates into who. I said earlier, Nani translates into who. Nani translates into who. And of course, you also do have where. Where, you're talking about where, it translates into wapi. It translates into wapi, like I gave the example of je unaenda wapi. Je unaenda wapi. And therefore, you might be able to also learn a thing or two about that particular one. And also, when talking about things like continuing with the conversation, and you're asking someone how they are doing, I also use the word endelea. And if someone says unaendeleaje, unaendelea aje. If someone says unaendelea aje, it's simply understood to be how is it going, how is it going, or how also is your day going, how is it going, and that is a way also to move away from the greetings and also go into just a little bit of some chat before you ask for maybe perhaps whatever you want to ask for. It's also very, very courteous to use that particular kind of way, because Swahili is not really a direct language. Yeah, it's direct, but the communication style is indirect. People have a conversation before they even talk about real matters. You can even have a joke, just playing some humor and just having some joke before you make up, before you make your case, or before you request for whatever thing that perhaps you wanted to request for. It's also important that I also remind us about the nouns and the verbs. We have learned about verbs in the last few classes. We are talking about some of the most common ones. For example, keti, which is for sitting. If you're talking about inuka, is rising up. Inuka is rising up. If you're talking about kula is very, very popular. Kula is simply for eat. It's simply kula, and therefore I always keep on saying kula chakula. Kula chakula kitamu. Kula chakula is eat food. Eat food is kula chakula. Kula chakula. If someone says give me food, it's simply nipe chakula. Nipe chakula, which is nipe is give me. Nipe is simply for give me. Nipe is give me. But you have to be courteous as well, so you have to put in the word tafadhali. tafadhali, 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 nipe chakula, which is please give me some food, please give me some food. And you can also say tafadhali nipe maji. Tafadhali nipe maji will be please give me some water. Nipe maji, nipe maji. It's simply give me water, give me water, give me water. And you can say tafadhali nipe maji, tafadhali nipe maji. And of course, you can also elaborate what kind do you want to drink in water? Do you want water to wash your hands? And therefore, if you can say nipe maji ya kunywa, kunywa, which is give me drinking water, give me water to drink, to drink. In Swahili, there is a use of ya, which is a ya. Ya simply means for. It simply means for. And if we're talking about ni, the ni, it simply means is. The ni simply means is. For example, if I point it to someone and says, huyu ni ndugu yangu, huyu ni dada yangu. Let me use dada. Huyu ni dada yangu. It simply means this is my sister. This is the ni inside there is a for. This is my sister. 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 And of course, if you want to use the na simply means na. It simply means the na, which is na. It simply means and. This is a connector. This is a connector. These are very, very simple syllables, but they matter very, very much. They matter very, very much. And like you heard, there is ni for is, there is na for and, and there is ya for, there is ya, which is for. If you said maji ya kunywa, it's water for drinking. If you said kiti, yeah, it's a chair for, and that is how you simply use those three different kinds of words, and they are very, very simple syllables that you can also use when you're conversing in your Swahili. And of course, is a very, very important connector. It's a connector. For example, tea and bread, you simply say mkate na chai na mkate, chai na mkate, which is very, very simple, you know. Of course, that is a chai na mkate, and you also see the illustration using na at the middle, which is a connector for tea. Tea is chai and mkate is bread. Chai na mkate, and that is how you simply say it. And if you say for example, mama is for mama or for mother. Mama ni mchovu. That means mom is tired. Mom is tired. And therefore you have the example illustrating the use of ni, and the ni, mama ni, the ni, mama ni mchovu. You see the example of is used in that particular word, and therefore all these things are very, very much important. Now, for example, if you said karatasi, for example, karatasi is a paper. Karatasi is a paper. Karatasi ya kuandikia, that would be a paper to write on. A paper for writing on, or to write on, for writing on, because ya simply translates into for. It translates into for, and it's very, very simple. If you do have a question to that particular point, kindly feel free to ask. If you do have a question, kindly feel free to ask. And remember, you can also shoot me an email, blackhotfireafrica@gmail.com, blackhotfireafrica@gmail.com, blackhotfireafrica@gmail.com. I will be able to respond to your question regarding some of the things that you do get to learn here as a family on the Swahili classes for the Black Hot Fire Network. We are always here on Saturdays and Sundays, and therefore you can also join us tomorrow. Tomorrow we shall be doing it on the normal time, 1 p.m. is the time. Today we had to do it earlier. We might not even have a full class, but tomorrow we shall have a full class from 1 p.m. Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and I would like to urge us all to join us at that particular time tomorrow. We are almost winding up, but if you do have a question, kindly feel free to ask. If you do have a question, kindly feel free to ask so that we can respond to your question as a family. Learning as a group is important. You cannot learn a language by yourself. You have to have friends, you have to have colleagues, you have to have family that you are learning the language with. And that is what I always do get to encourage us to do. I was thinking you're going to ask a Swahili related question. That is a melanated warrior. And I also saying, please repeat the pronunciation of mchovu. Mchovu is mchovu. The M is the M is mchovu. That is mchovu, which is tired. Tired mchovu. And there is also another word which is mpole. Mpole is someone who is really gentle. Mpole is gentle. If you said mama ni mpole, or kijana mpole, if you said kijana mpole, if you said, for example, kijana mpole, it's really kijana mpole, it's really gentle, gentle. Kijana is either for a boy or a girl. It's either for a boy or a girl, and therefore you say kijana mpole, that is a gentle boy or girl, a gentle boy or girl. Kijana is simply a word for youth. It's simply a word for youth. So mchovu is for tired. These are adjectives. Mchovu is for tired. Mpole is for gentle. Mzuri, let me also use another one. Mzuri is for good. If you're describing someone as good, then you can say mama mzuri or kijana mzuri or kaka mzuri or dada mzuri, or those words are used to describe this particular person being good. Mzuri. If you said mbaya is also, mbaya is for bad person. Mbaya is for bad, and therefore you said msichana mbaya. For example, msichana is a girl. Msichana. If you said msichana, that would be mbaya. Msichana mbaya, that would be a bad girl. A bad girl, that would be a bad girl. You can also say mvulana mbaya. Mvulana is for boy, a small boy. Mvulana, you can say mvulana mzuri is for good. Mbaya is for bad. Mvulana mzuri is that's for young, for good young boy, a good boy. And now, of course, remember we said Asante or Shukran is for thanks. Asante or Shukran is for thanks. We also say that Kwaheri is for goodbye. And I just want to thank everyone that has been with us on this a small or a short class for Swahili. Tomorrow we shall embark on the same, and that will be at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I would like to hope that you are doing well. I know the weekends are normally a busy time, but you still have found some minutes to just check in on us and see what's good with the Swahili class for the weekend. Remember, you can get some of the previous classes on Spreaker. I shared with us Spreaker.com. Tea and bread is chai na mkate. Chai, chai. Na is for and. Na is a connector, is for and. If you said tea and bread, that is chai na mkate. Therefore would be chai, that is a tea and bread. Tea and bread. Bread is mkate. For example, if you say maybe a thing like what? Kitabu na kalamu. Kitabu is a book. Kitabu na kalamu. Kitabu is a book and kalamu is a pen. That would be a book and paper. So na means and. Yes, na means and. And ni means is. Ni means is. Na means is. Is there a word for fufu? I do not know. It's just tugali. We call it tugali here. I do not know whether there's a word for fufu, Sister Niche. It's just tugali here. We do not have. Yeah, people enjoy fufu. If you wanted to go to a Nigerian restaurant here in Nairobi, you can do it. But I do not know the word for that. Maybe it's ugali. In Nairobi, you call it ugali. Ugali is just that the maize flour, mixed with boiling water and then made into that particular meal, which is ugali. And now, of course, like I said, four is yeah. That is how simply you would have it. Soon we shall have a class and have a guest, and have a conversation in Swahili, and it will be much better also having a conversation where we are conversing among us all between two people. In our next class, we hope that particular one. Beast is mnyama. Beast, an animal. An animal is also equated beast, or let me say animal. Is converted into is translated into mnyama. Mnyama is for one. Mnyama is for one. That is how you simply say a beast or animal. But for Mzungu is really the white. Mzungu is really that is Mzungu is also you could also equate it. You could also equate it to that. Just like Sister Nisha says it, you would actually say it in that particular way. But nonetheless, I do hope that you all doing well and everyone is keeping safe. I understand, of course, being the cold season, people might be also facing challenges like in Texas, but I do hope that everyone is doing well and that you all actually are keeping safe. That you all keeping safe. Remember, if you are joining us for the first time, you are also much welcome to join us tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And also kindly feel free to check us out on our official website, which is www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. Melanated Warrior, asante sana. And Sister Nish, karibu sana. And also for Sister Angela Morris, we hope to see you in Tanzania. Sister Angela Morris, I saw you earlier. And I hope I have responded to your question. We hope to see you when we get to Tanzania in April. Melanated World, you're so welcome. If you would like to join us in Tanzania, kindly feel free to contact Keith and and have him arrange the details for your travel. And also, who else? And everyone else that was with us in our class for today. I just want to thank you and for the support on the Black Fire Network. Like I said, you can also get the book. It's on lulu.com. You can get the book on lulu.com. And I buy it for $8, and I get to see the notes on Swahili. And you can also use them at every other time that you would like to refer to those particular books as well. I want to wish you a happy day, which is nawatakia siku njema. Ninawatakia siku njema. Siku njema is a good day. Siku njema simply means a good day. And if I said ninawatakia siku njema, that is I'm wishing you a very, very good day. For now, I want to say kwaheri. Make sure to join us tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday for the Sunday Swahili class. Till then, much peace and love. I want to say kwaheri.